In some ways, I don't like leaving the discussion about backing up your data file till the end, because some people never get to the end of the course, or some people just kind of get tired by this point and it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. Backing up your data is more than important. It's critical. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients call, almost in tears, if not actually in tears, about the fact that somehow their hard drive failed or their data got corrupted. What do I do? Sometimes when I ask them if they have a backup, the answer is, yeah, sure I do. Oh, good. But then it turns out that they haven't backed it up in 6 months. A backup is only as good as how current it is. Depending on your business, that may mean that you need to back up things daily, maybe even hourly. Usually not, but usually daily will be good. And don't forget to rotate your backups, and also to keep them off-site. I also hate to say it, but I had one customer who actually had a fire, and they had backed up their data. But all 5 of their backups, they rotated them Monday through Friday, were in the same building as the fire. So not only is the computer burned up, so were their backups. It's often hard to think about all of this, so I'm just trying to remind you that backups need to be something that is off-site, and you rotate them. You bring back one with you each time. If you need any help about how to do backups as far as rotation and those types of things, a lot of people can help you. There's also online resources, and your accountant can probably give you some help as well. What we're going to do is simply back up our QuickBooks file. As I said, it could be something that you do daily or weekly or monthly, but probably at least weekly, I think would make me feel best. I'm going to click on my File menu after I close out of my Preferences box. And I can look down and see all of the wonderful things I have, including a Utilities menu. And one of the features that we have in the Utilities menu is the option to do something called Cleaning Up Company Data. It's the last option on the little flyout menu. We're going to get to that in just a minute. Cleaning up the company data actually archives information. It will take out all of the transactions prior to a certain date, which is a good idea, but we want to have the backup first. So if we need to go back to the full file, we can. So I'm not going to come down to Utilities quite yet, and I don't recommend that you do. I recommend that you make a quick stop before you get there to save, copy, or backup. This is kind of like just saving a file. You're going to have an option to create a backup copy, or what they call a portable company file. That's a compact version of all the data. You can email or temporarily move to another computer. Call it QuickBooks Lite, if you will, as far as the data is concerned. And then, of course, there's also the accountant's copy that we worked with in an earlier chapter. I just want a regular old backup. I'll click on Next. You have the option to do online backup, saving it to a secure off-site location. Remember, that's what I said was important. It's off-site using QuickBooks Backup. You get 30 days for free, but after that, it's a paid service. Otherwise, you need to choose local backup and choose where you want to save that to. Here's another recommendation. Don't back up your hard drive to your hard drive. In other words, if I'm currently working off of my local computer hard drive, that's not where I want the backup. Either use a removable CD or DVD or a removable hard drive or put it out on the network. But you never want to keep your working file and your backup file on the same physical piece of hardware or in the same physical location. All right, we're going to do local backup now that I'm done lecturing you about all of this. We'll click on Next. It asks us a couple of questions. Do you want to add the date and time to the file name? Yeah, that's kind of good because then it makes it easier to identify if you're rotating copies. And then limit the number of backup copies in the folder to, I might say 5. Let's just say that we're going to be backing up every day. This will give us a Monday through Friday rebound that we can go to. Then on the bottom, remind you to back up when you close the company file every so many times. That can be good. It can also get annoying if you open and close the file a lot, so make sure you set that number to something that will not irritate you, but will tend to remind you when you need to use it. You can then choose to do a complete verification or a quicker verification or no verification at all. Trust me, the complete is always better, but you know, if you're under a tight time frame, you might say quicker verification. I don't recommend ever not verifying it. I'll go ahead at this point and say OK. And it reminds me that I need to tell them where. So I'm going to click Browse in the backup options. That was at the very top. I don't know, for some reason I always overlook that part. Click on Browse. In this case, I am going to save it to my desktop. Remember what I said, though, that's just for this illustration. Normally, I would not do that. On my desktop, I have my Project Files folder, and in that, my Chapter 21 folder. Now we'll click OK. And see, QuickBooks is giving you some of the advice that I already did. You've told us to save backup copies to the same hard drive that holds your company file. We do not recommend this. We know, but we'll go ahead and say use this location just for this example. Lastly, it does give you an option to save it now and schedule future backups, or to only schedule future backups. I actually love this feature. Anytime I can schedule something as far as maintenance goes, I know it's better because I get busy and I have good intentions, but before I know it, I was going to back up QuickBooks 2 months ago and I haven't done it yet. Actually, I've never been that bad, but my point here is if you can schedule it, that's always a good thing. So let's say save it now and schedule future backups and click Next. You have the option of saving a backup copy every time you close your computer. That could be good. Or we can check that and we can say, you know what, how about every 5th time? Basically, that is a good measure of use because if you're entering information, whether it's 5 times a day or 5 times a month, it's going to be based on the amount of times you open the file. So that could be a good thing. You also can add schedules. You can click Options to change where the automatic backup copies will be saved. And you also can click New to schedule regular backups based on some other schedule. I'll go ahead and click Finish. Again, it reminds me that I don't have any currently scheduled, and I say, well, how can I say that, or is that okay? Yes, it is. The reason it did that is because I said, go ahead and do it now, and then go ahead and schedule it every 5th time. When it says it's not actually scheduled, it just means I haven't set up a real-time schedule, as in every Thursday at 2 o'clock. You finally get the message that QuickBooks has saved a backup copy for your company to a specific location, and you can say OK. And that will then bring you back to where you began.